Hey everybody, Boz here. This is an early build video because I want to get kind of back on track. Generally the builds are a couple weeks behind the videos versus the server, but I wanted to catch up because I had 1 week where I was kind of busy and I didn't get a chance to do the video. So this week's build video is toys. So you can see it written in the background there in the distance. So our first build I wanted to show, this was by SolarHeat. And it's kind of got like a rabbit and it looks like a house here, but there is a chest. And it basically says, hello, SolarHeat here. This build is what I sued to think when I went to bed. I think he meant used to think when I went to bed. Maybe he sued people before he went to bed. That's always an option if you're a budding lawyer. When I went to bed as a child, I would think that all my stuffed animals would come to life and leave my house and go to other houses to play with other stuffed animals. That is why I built this stuffed animal with a house. So his stuffed animals would go play with other people because he was always busy suing people. But it was a cute build. A lot of people's toys were more focused on physical toys or toy rooms. So I thought this was a little bit different, and I'm trying to mix it up. These aren't always the best builds. I mean, this is a great build, but I don't want people to think, well, you're not showing the best builds, because inevitably there are people who constantly have some of the most amazing builds, and if I just showed their builds, people would be upset. So you guys, as always, go to the description of this video, get the link, download this world. You can bring it into your single-player Minecraft and check it out. But this was a great little build by SolarHeat, and it was a little bit different from what I was expecting, so nicely done. Alright, our next build is one of the most popular toys from years and years ago. It still exists today. This is by saurus Rex, and obviously this is a Jack-in-the-Box. And again, somebody who hasn't been shown before, and we're going to see some repeat builders here, but I thought this was a nice job at an old toy that you don't see as much people playing with these, but it's still out there. But this goes way old school, but I liked it. It's a nice 3D build, a nice Jack-in-the-Box, nicely done, saurus Rex. Alright, now this next build, this is by Silver Dawn. And Silver Dawn's always putting out great content. This is Peep from Toy Story. This is a 3D build. I love 3D builds. 2D art is great too, and that's kind of what I'm okay at. I'm not very good at 3D builds, so that's one reason why I love them. So 2D, 3D, it's all great, but I think this is just beautiful. Nicely done. Hard to really work in the tight quarters that I give a player with these plots, but beautifully done. You get the right angle with a 3D build and they look gorgeous. So nicely done to Silver Dawn. Alright, now another build, and this one is pretty straightforward, but it's Mr. Potato Head. Now I don't know if this was built by Chicken Man 9000. I don't know if this was because of Toy Story. A lot of people build based off of Toy Story, but obviously Mr. Potato Head, a toy from many years back, even available when I was a kid. I think I used to have one of these at an early age, but I did like how they built the back that opens up. And obviously you can put the pieces inside here. So again, kind of an old school toy, brought back and probably became more popular after Toy Story, but good old Mr. Potato Head. Nicely done, Chicken Man. So this is another great build. This was a 4-person build, but this particular one here is Mr. Miners. And then over here, I believe this is Munchers. And this is Bowden's, and over here is Rachel Hammond. Let's just make sure. It looks like Hodge helped a little bit with that one. And that's Rachel's. Mr. Miners. Carly Hammond helped with this massive build. So you can see, I mean, these rooms, we've got various toys. The old globe on the wall, got the map, the ABCs, puzzles it looks like. We've got the bed over here. We've got the nightlight. We've got a sign that says Andy. I'm assuming this is kind of a Toy Story vibe also. A picture on the wall, and over here we've got the old toys. We got the Rubik's Cube and everything. So beautifully done by them and the players that helped them. Alright, our next build, this was a 3-person build. This particular one here, this was by Cloud. And then over here we have Poker, and finally over here Mario. And this is something, I believe it's called Disney's, and let's look at Cloud sign. Disney, I think it's pronounced Zoom Zooms, but this is Cloud's build, and she's got some of these Disney Zoom Zooms. I don't know if this is a real popular new toy. I have no idea. And then you can see retro here. Obviously, that one is what is that? Goofy, maybe Pluto. I have no idea. Donald, Daisy, Mickey, Minnie here by Mario. So I'm assuming this is a popular toy, and Disney is producing a whole bunch of them. I don't know a lot about them. You guys are free to, in the description of the video, post comments down below the description. Post your comments and let me know, and then educate me on what these all are. And that goes for like all the builders. I mean, even if your build's not shown, I mean, feel free to make mention of it, and you can list the coordinates or whatever that your build's at. The world is already online, so you can download it yourself and use F3 to figure out where your build is if you want to show it. But nice three-way build here by Cloud, by Poker, and Mario. Nicely done, you guys. All right, last and not least, this one's my favorite only because I grew up with the consoles first starting to take off, you know, Pong, Atari 2600, and I was a huge fan of arcades. Spent a lot of my early teen years in the arcade, putting my quarters on the machines. So I love this. I've even made my own arcade machine in our basement. Someday, if people want, maybe on live stream, I'll do like a camera tour of the house and show the arcade machine. But this one here was built by Hottie Gorilla. This one over here, the Donkey Kong, that was built by Infernate, and Stig built the Pac-Man. So, I mean, let's just look. I mean, you can see they've kind of got the animated like lights up here above the names and the controls. And then, of course, you know, the Frogger levels. Frogger is a very fun game in the old days, trying to get the frog across the pond into the little nests or whatever they're called. Donkey Kong was a real favorite of mine. I always loved Donkey Kong. You know, get Mario. The first game with basically Mario in it. Get Mario to the top to save the princess. And then, of course, Pac-Man, which was probably one of the most huge arcade games, where Pac-Man runs around and avoids the ghosts. And you can kind of see the ghosts here and the different colored for those. And then, of course, Pac-Man. And you can see they are spelled Pinky, Clyde, Blinky, Inky. So I'm proud to see they got the names right. Granted, the maze, not really easy to recreate identically. That was kind of a funny thing, too, for the old Atari 2600. They did Pac-Man, but the monitors in the arcades, and actually that's probably the only thing I'll say in negative about these attempts at recreating the arcade machines, it looks more like a landscape monitor, but most of the arcade games, early arcade games, the monitors were turned more in a portrait setting, so they were more taller up and down than they were left and right. And that was one of the difficulties when they did Pac-Man on the Atari 2600. It was very hard to try to do the original maze. So if you ever look at like any screenshots of the Atari 2600 Pac-Man, it is awful. They did not recreate the map. I bought that game, my dad bought it for me, took me to the store, and I got it home and played it, and I got to say I was very disappointed. I played it just because, but it was very disappointing. But these builds are very nice. When you can see the cabinet work they did, you know, looks really good. And you know, the coin machines where you can put your coins in. So let's just see if we turn it on, if it does anything. I want to play. It's not moving. There we go. So you can see the barrels and the sensor coming down. And down they go. So that's really cool. Pac-Man doesn't look to have any controls down there on the bottom. And I'm not seeing any controls there. So Pac-Man is in a state of repairs. And then, of course, Frogger here doesn't work. So give a slight edge to Infernape there out of the 3, putting the actual controls in. But again, I mean, you can see some great builds here. A lot of people built some very cool things. And as we're flying by here, I mean, we'll just kind of show overheads of some of these. I really encourage you to download the world. All the worlds from all of our builds are online. Download them, fly around, look at them. If you're one of the builders, get on here and in the description of the video, post your comments. Talk about your build, what you want people to know about it, and have them check it out. But we'll be back this Sunday with movie moments. So look forward to that. And thanks again, guys, for building. Remember, the theme server's up now. Current theme as of this video airing is Halloween. If you get on, you've got about 2 more days to build Halloween. Take care, everybody.